Welcome back to Elevate. You know what I've realized? The church has been sitting on the world's greatest treasure and doing, quite frankly, a terrible job of sharing it. They lock it in a vault. Yeah, a treasure map from the church, locked in a vault. They wrap it in big words. They hide it behind stained glass and Sunday clothes. And meanwhile, the world is starving for it. So here I am. I don't know, the Robin Hood of the Bible. I'm not here to sit in a pew polishing gold. I'm here to steal the truth out of the church's vault and put it straight in your hands so that you can live the life of your dreams. Because you're not going to find it in self-help. You can only find it in God help. So no dress code, no perfect attendance, no church voice. You don't have to join anything, give anything, or pretend to be someone you're not. You can just take the treasure because it works whether you believe in it or not. This is, instead of self-help, God help, and this one works. You've been chasing joy, peace, and purpose in a world that can't actually give it to you, and abundance. The world and self-help, they give you substitutes like followers, morning routines, manifestation rituals. High five yourself in the mirror. Take a cold plunge. Well, they're never the real thing. The real thing has been here all along. You have just been looking in the wrong vault. And I'm here to show you how to break in and steal the truth to a purpose-driven life of your dreams. So let's talk about the treasure map. You see, the truth I'm talking about really isn't locked in the vault. It's not reserved for people who have perfect attendance on Sundays or know every hymn by heart. It's not even reserved for the ones who believe yet. It's just been sitting in plain sight all these years. But you know what happened? Religion kind of wrapped it in all these layers and rituals and rules, like the Holy Club, exclusivity. So most people just never, ever even go near it. And meanwhile, the world tries to copy it with self-help. They take pieces of it, they rebrand it, they slap a shiny title on it and call it some podcast, and then they sell it back to you in self-help books, in TED Talks, in science, in motivational podcasts. You've probably been living off the knockoff version without even realizing it. And that's why you get these little bursts of motivation, little highs from a new routine or a big speech, but then it fades every single time. The world cannot give you what the treasure map holds, because when you take the blueprint of life and you rip the author's name off the cover and you try to sell it as your own, and that's what self-help is doing, you strip out the one thing that makes it work. And here's where I lose some of the church people. And honestly, I'm fine with that because they've been guarding the gold instead of giving it away. But I'm here to tell you, I will gladly rob their vault and hand you the treasure. And if you think I'm exaggerating, well, then buckle up, because I'm about to show you exactly what the world has been selling you. And then I'm going to show you the truth that they stole it from. Are you ready for some of the great heists? Let's talk about what the world actually gave you. You know it, you read it, and you probably highlighted half of it. The morning routines, the vision boards, the mantras, the cut out the toxic people speeches. And here's the thing, a lot of them work for a while. They give you just enough dopamine to feel like you're making progress. You know, they're like a good cup of coffee. You get that surge, that pep in your step, but by mid-afternoon, you're right back where you started. And nobody tells you why, because if they did, you'd stop buying their self-help books. You see, all of these strategies are borrowed straight from the original blueprint, the good book. They just edit out the parts that they thought would scare you or require too much from you. God forbid, mention the author. God. It's like buying a luxury sports car with no engine. It looks amazing in the driveway. It impresses your neighbors, but you can't actually go anywhere because you don't have the engine. And I'm telling you right now, I've spent enough time in both worlds to see the theft up close. The church buried it under rules. The self-help world, they strip it for its parts and use what they think is going to make them money. So here we are. a generation of people sitting in shiny cars with no engines, wondering why we feel empty and our life is not launched and our dreams are still sitting on a shelf. And I'm not here to sell you a new car. I'm here to sell you your dream. I'm here to hand you the keys to the engine that self-help's leaving out. All right, the world didn't invent these life hacks, all these great ideas. They just stripped them right out of the Bible. Yes, they slapped a shiny new cover on their podcast and they sold it back to you for anywhere from, I don't know, $20 to $10,000. And they call it a mastermind course. Take the law of attraction. You've heard it 1,000 times. I say it all the time. Whatever you think about, you bring about. And boy, is that true. But they say the universe is listening. That's cute. But call it what it is. That's a knockoff. You don't manifest from the universe. The real version is 1,000 years old. And the reason the law of attraction works is because it's God's law, straight out of the Bible. Proverbs 23:7. As a man think in his heart, so is he. That's not the universe. That's the creator of the universe saying your thoughts shape your reality. Or how about vision boards or the endless Pinterest quotes and glue stick parties? There's nothing wrong with it. Vision boards are amazing. God designed them. You know what it says? Habakkuk 2:2. Write the vision and make it plain on tablets. Yeah, that's what it says in the Bible. It's so simple, and you thought the Bible was complicated. That's not manifestation. That's not a trick. That is divine instruction, and that's why it works. But you take out the author and it doesn't mean anything. Here's my favorite. Cut out the toxic people in your life. The Bible has been clear on this for centuries. It says bad company corrupts good character. I mean, that's 1 Corinthians 15, like 30 something. This is not a TED Talk. That's the original playbook of where these quotes are coming from. See, the world is running around selling you repackaged, watered down pieces of truth and leaving you stuck. And you're wondering why no one is truly satisfied. Because when you take the author out of his own words, you lose the power that makes them work. And that's where I come in, to steal it back, to hand you the truth in its raw, untamed, full-strength form, not store-bought brand version, but I'll meet you where you're at. I'm not going to go all corny on you, but I'm not going to give you the sugar-free, gluten-free, watered-down copy of how to live a purpose-driven life. I'm going to give you the original recipe. We're taking it back. Every principle, every promise, every timeless piece of wisdom. We're putting the author's name back where it belongs. God wrote the Bible for the world. It's life's little instruction book. Gosh, I can't stress it enough. The world did not invent these life hacks. They just stripped it. You'll hear me say this time and time again. Self-help gets it right. Often, that's why it is so dangerous. Because they take the author out of it, which means they could be 95% there, but the piece that they're missing, that 1% is the piece that keeps you from freedom. I always say self-help is an inch from truth, which is a mile from freedom, which means your dreams stay on a shelf for the rest of your life. God does not want his children looking at the dreams that he put in his heart. He wants us to take them down and ignite them. And that's what I do. I remind you that God put a dream in every person's heart. We just need to draw close to him and ask him to reveal that dream. And then we take it down off the shelf, we dust it off, and we live life launched. We wake up every day with a fire in our soul because God wants his children blessed. He does not want them stuck and depressed and reading self-help books with a different author who stole his words. You know what self-help does? All these science and academia, they know where the golden rules come from. But it's like a game of telephone. They take it, they twist it a little bit, and they move it on. And then they move it on. And someone tells somebody else, and they all get watered down and passed along from the original words of God till they're watered down philosophy, and then they turn into a Pinterest quote or a TikTok soundbite, and the message just gets weaker and weaker until all you've got is a half truth that's good enough to inspire you for 15 minutes or for somebody to sell it in a podcast because they came from a special school or something and they're smart, but it leaves you powerless and it doesn't change your life. And that's why the self-help industry is worth billions. It thrives on selling you refills of the product that never actually works long-term. Because without its own original designer, the original instructions, the fuel, it's just a prop. And here's the ridiculous part. People will pay more for the knockoff if the label says, I don't know, he's from Harvard or Yale or some other academia brand. All of a sudden, that person talks and everybody listens. We act like a diploma is proof of truth. They're usually the ones who take it out. Meanwhile, the actual blueprint is just sitting in plain sight for over 3,000 years, collecting dust on a shelf in your house. It's like life's little instruction book, sitting right there. And you're like, listen to the person from Harvard. When you work with this original, you get original results. When you run on real fuel, you get the power that it promises. And boy, does God promise a lot of power. But when you buy that knockoff, don't be surprised when it looks good in the beginning, but it dies halfway through the road trip. All right, I think you get it. You can't keep buying or listening to the knockoffs. You can't keep scrolling for the next viral hack. You can't keep high-fiving yourself in the mirror or letting them instead of loving them and repeating the same mantras and listening to the same podcast voices that lean on science. But deep down, everybody's still empty. They're high-functioning, empty people. You've been running on fumes, and maybe you've gotten good at hiding it. You can look successful. You can keep the leather seats polished and the music playing in the car and smile ready, but you're not moving. Your car is not moving, and you know it. And the real fuel, the kind that lasts, it's not theory. It's not a rebrand. It's just love. That's it. Not the Instagram version of love or the when it's easy love version. It's the kind of love that frees you, the kind of love that forgives, that prays for people who hurt you, the kind of love that sees everyone the same way God sees them. It's a different kind of love that we're talking about. And listen, you don't have to join a monastery or become a nun to start using God's blueprint. You don't have to become some weird version of yourself. You just have to start. And starting could be as simple as tomorrow morning in the quiet of your shower, you say, hey, God, I'm not even sure about any of this, but I heard podcasts and I'm kind of listening. Show me who you are. That's it. That's it. You don't even have to go to church. But once you taste what the original blueprint offers, the joy, the peace, the purpose, and the abundance, you'll never go back to the knockoff. You'll never unsee the real truth again. And every time you hear the world repackage it, you're going to smile because now you know. And you'll go straight to the source. All right, how about a way forward if you're ready for that? You don't want the fake stuff. You don't want the watered down quotes. You want the real thing. Then stop following just one voice. Maybe swap one guru for one that uses truth. Start listening to voices that point you higher, not just back to yourself. That's why I built a course called B101. It's absolutely free, no strings attached. Go to launchyourrocket.com. It meets you where you're at, just like we are here. It's not to make you more religious, but to teach you to hear God's voice. It's like, who is this guy, God? How do you read this book? What is he? What does he believe? How do I fit into this story? Just so that you could spot truth anywhere and stop falling for the knockoffs because they don't work. And if you want to go deeper, go to my Launch Your Rocket website. I do a podcast all the time on YouTube. I'm on TikTok, Instagram. Just listen here. Let me be the one new voice that's not so churchy and maybe can meet you where you're at. But the truth is you can't keep running on empty and wondering why life feels flat or meh. Maybe it's time to put real fuel in your tank and finally feel the wind in your hair. Gosh, the choice is yours. I'm telling you, you want to live a life where you wake up every morning excited for the day. I know that sounds actually corny because self-help teaches us that meh is the new normal, that you believe it and it's not. God never called us to live average lives. He wants us to live a life fully alive, fully awake, and fully abundant. And I know because I use the blueprint. It is never It is never far from me. This is life's little instruction book. It's the Holy Grail. It brings you everything that you're seeking. And it is the one thing that these self-help communities leave out. The source. No wonder everybody's so stuck. All right, listen, I hope you'll join me here all the time. I hope you'll shift with me. We're starting a movement. We're going to turn the let them theory into the love them theory. The world and this blueprint are polar opposites, but one leads to you living a life that's stuck, and one leads to you living a life launched, fully awake and fully alive. I hope you'll join me. The choice is yours. All right, before I let you go, hop on over to my website. I just dropped a new course. It's called Elevate. Just like this, I meet you where you're at. It's 30 chapters, 6 modules. It has a workbook. We discover your dream. We unleash your why. You know, when God gives you a vision and we find it, he also gives you the provision. So we'll discover your dream. We'll unleash your why. We'll find your niche. We'll set your goals, and we will launch your life. And you don't have to become a nun, and you don't have to start speaking in Bible verses, and you don't have to change your outward world. Let God slowly change you. When you do shift, you attract everything that you once chased. Oh, gosh, I want to change the world, and I want you to change it with me. All right, elevate your life. What if this is the missing link that you've been searching for your whole life? Like, oh my gosh, I discovered the holy grail to getting unstuck. Yeah, I have it. So maybe join me on Elevate. If not, just join me on this podcast. All right, you can see I'm passionate about this. All right, I'm so grateful that you joined me today. I will see you next time on Elevate.